this is the business we have today. I have this tweet right on hand just because I want to do something really simple, but at the same time super useful, which is having all the tweets so I can show the full like example of what I'm using. It's just because some people gave me the whole ref sheet, even though I don't do art. So I took some liberties with the ref sheet. Don't worry about it. For those I use the ref sheet, I'm going to give credit. I'm making sure everybody getting the credits they need. So for starters, we have one rule. I'm not adding myself here. This is a pure and only community-based roster. If I add myself, knowing myself, I'm not a fighter, at least not in a traditional sense. So I might add myself another day, who knows. But for now, the roster is complete and I have a few surprises for later on. So the window you see here will be where I'm going to show. I had a few ideas for some of the people who suggested stuff purely based on what they told me, and some pure based on the design, and some a mix of both, you know? Some really creative people just like drop it a lot of info, and well, a lot of info or just the image alone is strong enough to just make a moveset out of it. I'm not doing this in any particular order. There is no protagonist, there is no first comment being here. I just picked up randomly, so everybody gets a turn and there is no bias or anything, I guess. I don't know. There will be some bias because I know some people better than others, but in terms of the order, it's just pure random. So for starters, we have this guy. So this guy right here is a wrestler, like pure and simple, even on his own words. Yeah, Corey Caesar, the pro wrestler. So this is kind of a no-brainer. This is my grappler right here. Like, this is a guy who will literally just do grab after maybe shoving you a little bit out of the stage or something. Like, the idea of a fighting game I had when I see this guy and the few of the other contenders was basically I'm making Marvel vs. Capcom with a mix of some other fighting games, right? So the thing with Caesar over here is that this guy will be full of grabs, and the button layout for this game specifically, I made it so I can have as many moves as possible, but at the same time I don't exactly know what I'm cooking here, so I'm going blind most of the time. But for this guy at least, the button layout I had in mind was a 4-button layout. I have 3 type of attack, light, medium, heavy, with a special button being similar to Fighters and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So the thing is, the special button on this guy will be a grab, and you can do another type of grabs depending on the type of button you combine them, like kind of like Tekken. If you combine special button with light, you do a faster but low damage grab. That will depend on the action, like if you press forward, maybe you get a different grab that launches your opponent on the wall, or if you press back, you do a choke slam. Maybe if you pressed up, you throw them in the air and you do a pile drive. Who knows? This guy has the potential to be a full-on grappler, like King on Tekken. So Caesar basic. Oh yeah, I forgot the super. Your super. I was thinking about giving you basically the Final Atomic Buster from Zangief, but that's too simple. So for your super, I was thinking about you will tackle your opponent. You will get up, wait for the crowd, like doing a sign to. You don't hear the crowd, so the crowd it starts screaming louder and louder. And when you get happy with the screaming of the public, you will just grab your opponent and start just spinning around him and just throwing them out of the stage or something. That will actually be funny. Just waiting for the crowd. The theatrics and everything. Okay, for this one, this gives me the idea that it's possible to make a Five Nights at Freddy fighting game, which scares me a little bit. So, according to Corrigan himself, he is an animatronic mascot that is technically alive. You said you're a magical experiment, so yeah, that's what I was thinking. With this guy, it makes me feel that I can make a fighting game out of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm scared of my power. But for this guy, since he includes the word magic, I'm going to like add some really crazy stuff with this guy. Like, yeah, he's an animatronic. He might not know how to fight, but he can go feral. Like, this is my saber wolf. This is my animal on the roster. He will fight like with just animal instincts, kinda. And since he's a robot, technically, he will have a little bit of like robotic type of attacks. Like, I don't know, maybe he can remove his hand and electrocute the opponent a little bit, like a little taser. Yeah, that would be a really good special move. Like, if you do a motion, instead of doing a punch, you do an electrical taser type of stuff. You leave them a little bit stunned, and then you just continue your combo. As for the super on Corrigan though, a tail trap. Ooh, I like how you think. A tail trap, yeah. Or, oh! No, wait, I have a better idea. I'm going to give him a reptile fatality as a super. Without the fatality, of course. Like, he can split a little bit of whatever liquid this chameleon can have, and make your opponent blind for a little bit, and then starts doing like slashes on him. And the final slash will be when the opponent already recovers. He can appears on the back of his opponent and just do a final slash on the back. Oh, I can just imagine that on the KO screen. That will look cool, actually. Holy shit. Okay. Let's go with the next one. Alright, the next guy is... I call this guy Enderhyd, right. I don't even know how to pronounce that, sorry. But I call this guy Enderhyd. So, for Enderhyd specifically, I have a lot of like worries about gods on fighting games usually, but to be completely honest, being a fighting game usually it doesn't matter if you're a god or not. You sometimes will get your ass rocked and handed to you. But you can pretend like you're just holding yourself or something, kind of like Slayer on Guilty Gear. But yeah, energy manipulation and matter, basically energy kinesis. Using sword attached to a chain as a weapon. Wait, if you can manipulate matter, doesn't mean you can use your own body as a weapon. I was thinking about like giving you I don't know if some of you know the game Prototype. The guy, if I remember, Alex Mercer, he has the powers to turn his, I think it's only his arms into blade. I was thinking giving him Elder over here a little bit of a power similar to that. He can manipulate the matter of his own body to create different things to hit the opponent. Maybe a hammer, maybe a blade, maybe a gun even. But if you mention a chain weapon, like a sword attached to a chain, that's basically Ghost Rider's chain. You give me the idea for your super there. You will do a few like slashes with that chain. You will get your opponent with the chain specifically, and then use both your arms to create a giant hammer and hit the opponent with it. Actually, that's a good idea. Since you manipulate energy and matter, you will gather a little bit of the matter of the stage and use that as a hammer. Basically, this guy, matter manipulation, energy manipulation, he can, at least for me, sounds like he can transform his own body into weapons. I don't know why he needs a chain with a sword, but he can use it for a super. Why not? Alright, let's see who's number 4. Alright. The next up is... Alright, this guy. This is Farros. basically. Knight of Farros. I just call him Farros for short, so hope he doesn't mind. Okay, so for Farros, he didn't give me info, or at least I think he expects me to just work with its Traveler Adventurer Knight, which is fine. I mean, I can think you... Okay, so let's say you're an adventurer and a storyteller. So I'm guessing you get some stuff on your adventures. Not always a weapon, not always a potion, but you get knowledge of your adventures, right? I can, with this, make an easy, like, give that armor setup, I will get sword and bow user. Yeah, I have a few that have a sword here. Not just the guy that was before, I have a few that have a sword here, but that's not a bad idea. I was thinking something like Arthur from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I can give him swords, I can give him some potions. For his fighting style, I think you're right, Enhander. A sword will be the primary for like light, mediums, and heavies. The super for Farros, though, I was thinking of him just giving a few slashes, but at the end, he will throw his opponent up. I was thinking something like Final Justice, the super from Captain America. Kind of like that, but instead of like finishing the super of him just jumping and pushing your opponent on the ground, I was thinking something like the opponent is on the air, he throws his sword to them, and he puts a potion just under them, and when the opponent hits the ground, that potion explodes. It's so out there and so simple that I cannot think of anything else. I'm sorry. I'm like, ooh. It makes sense. You will use your weapons, you will use your body technically, because you will be hitting punches and maybe some kicks in the middle. But I think that's pretty much it for Farros. I like his design though. It looks sick. Oh shit, we're going to have fun here after this one. The next one is funny. We have this Sailor Moon character here. So yeah. I'm going all in on this. I don't mind. This looks good, by the way. Dancing ribbon for sure. Exact. It's a magical girl DadBod. Yeah. I don't know anything, like, at all about Sailor Moon. So I cannot think about magical girls in fighting games, actually. It's very little info I have from them. The only reference I have for this is Athena, and she uses psycho magic. A lot of element-based attacks. So yeah, avatar magic. Okay, I'm using avatar as a reference then. But for DadBod over here... Okay, so I have a lot of characters that fit the support role really good. And I think that over here does that to a T. I'm going to just do something with him and give him elemental powers like you said, Xaen. Basically, his attacks will give a special element on them. Let's say for light punches, depending on the direction you're pressing, you will get an element. For example, if you press back light punch, you get ice. If you press forward, you get fire. But if you press up, you get wind. Wait, no. Not up, down. If you press down light, you get a wind element or something. For the super, I was thinking something like mixing the elements, right? You burn them, then you freeze them, then you use your tornado to put the ice block of your opponent in the air, and you throw an elemental beam out of them. Kind of like a solar beam from Pokemon. He channels the power on the staff, on the center of the staff, and he throws that to the ice block on the air. That's your super. I already described the super. I already described his gameplay, which is elemental based. That's really good material. Let's see. Oh, hey, we have a familiar face over here. We are on Xaen now. What to do here? You seem more like a pacifist than a fighter, to be completely honest. I have more idea of the assist than the actual fighter itself. Insect type. Yeah, basically. Both. I was thinking kinda like both. Fairy and bug type. Okay, so you didn't give me anything on the on the tweet. You're just interested on why I think. One, I think it looks cute. It will look really good on this model. And two, okay, the only reference for a bug in a fighting game I have is Deborah, and I hate it. For a bug type fairy, I think you will use elemental magic too, but more centered on the earth, like maybe some trees growing under your opponent, maybe growing some plants like a Mingo on Marvel vs. Capcom 2. You can grow plants. Oh! Got it! Okay, you are the puppet fighter. She will attack kinda like a Mingo Marvel vs. Capcom 2. She will cover her limbs, not transform the limbs, cover their limbs in plants, and use those plants with thorns and whatever the plants have to attack the opponent. As for some specials, she will summon little creatures from the forest. You can summon maybe a little Groot, kind of like the Groot people. You will summon little tree guys, maybe a little cactus guy, kind of a reference in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And for the super, you will put your opponent inside a tree that you create. A tree full of like thorns and spines, and you will slowly close that tree on them. Later, for you to just spread all the thorns away from them, leaving them just a little bit stunned. It will do a lot of damage, but not enough to kill them. Even when they are on red life, you will leave them at 1 HP. Giving that sense that you are more of a pacifist than a fighter. You will still can KO opponents, but you cannot do it with your super. That's the point. More of a trap user. Wait, you're right, Enhander. She can use also some traps. If I want to add more moves, I can make you put some roots on your opponent depending on where they are on the screens. And since I have free button layout, I can, yeah, kind of like Testament. You got it. I can give you some traps depending on where your opponent is on the screen. You will use your light, your medium, or your heavy variant. Yeah. Okay, we got it. We figured it out. Let's go. Let's see, who's next? Okay, so the next one, it's kind of an easy one, but kind of a hard one. So, Pyro 8th. Rush down disjointed hitboxes. Yeah, she basically just said it. She is a rush down. But I need to give him some spice. Kind of like an oomph, if you know what I mean. I don't know about the disjointed hitboxes, but yeah, fire element, it's pretty easy to work with in a fighting game. It's the go-to for a really cool looking effect on fighting games, actually, I think. Yeah, I was thinking something about making her a little bit kind of like Scorpion. Give her a teleport and some fire-based attack with the sword. And this is what I mean when I say I have a few that have that use the sword. So Farros in it of itself will use a sword, yeah, but I was thinking of giving Farros more like melee-oriented attacks with maybe some mixed ups between using potions for maybe some healing or doing traps, and then giving him the super with the sword. But I'm planning to give her the go-to. Use your sword to attack, maybe some fire attacks mixing up with the sword. Yeah, a decent shield. Yeah, she will use the sword for a shield too. As for the super though, I'm going to give them what they want. I'm going to make them a rush down super. She will do the cheap super from Stride, but not with all the ninja stuff. She will just charge and give you a few slashes. From the back, from the front, back front, maybe from the sides, and then for finishing she will do the basic just slam dunk the sword in the ground. I don't know if you are familiar with Final Fantasy VII, but it's basically the Link Final Smash or the Omni Slash from Cloud. It's basically the Omni Slash for Cloud, but instead of launching the opponent up in the air, it will be only on the ground. I'm going basic with this because it works. It perfectly works. It's a fire type of sword fighter. It's perfect for fighting games. It's a classic. Okay, we finished with the first 7. We need to go with the last 7. Who's next? Ooh, okay. Here's another sword fighter. But this one, it's going literally to Dragon Quest. Okay, so this is one of the guys that I need to show his concept art. Like, the ref sheet for this guy is so cool. I cannot, and I repeat, I cannot not show that. It's super good. Okay, if I'm taking literally what he says here, I cannot take his sword at all. He says he can cut anything with his sword, but I cannot, and I repeat, cannot let him do that. This is a fighting game. I cannot give you one-hit KO. Invincible weapons in fighting games always get nerfs to fair levels. Yeah, but dude, what's the fun of like winning on one hit? This guy is a hero. He will fight even without his sword, I'm guessing. And since we have rules here, and he's a hero, he's a good guy, he will follow them. I have no issues giving his sword a nerf, or in this case, a Thanos snap. So yeah, for Gamban over here, I hope you have spells. I actually hope you have spells. Or maybe a combat style that doesn't require a sword. But look like... Ooh, who the hell survived lightning strikes? Well, you're right. What am I thinking? I need to give him a sword. I was thinking, give him a few punches, mix it up with the sword, kind of like to make it vary from the other fighters, but I just remember I gave Farros that. So for this guy, I'm going to... I really don't want to reference Dragon Quest, but that's the only thing that comes into my mind. Wait a minute. You mean... Okay, so... Powerful but hard to use. Have you ever experienced a stance fighter? Yeah, it can work with this guy, right? He has 3 different ways to use the sword. Defensive style, offensive style, and neutral style. Each of which will give him 3 different types of special moves, depending on which style he has at the time, and which button he uses. That will be hard as fuck, but you can also change style at any moment, no matter if you are in the middle of a move. Yeah, if you master that thing, you will be a god tier fighter. Like, let's say you are using neutral style, which is the one you will get at the beginning of the match. You change to attack style, then to defense style for a launcher or something, and then you go back to neutral or go back to attack style to make a final blow. Attack style will be slow, but it will hit hard. If you time it well, you will get a lot of damage on a good combo. Defensive style will be more fast, so it will be more of a dodgy type of style. You will have lighter moves, but it will do less damage. And neutral style is basically the middle, like the sweet middle. Not too fast, not too strong. Okay, so you know how Gerald de Rivia on Soul Calibur 6 has like a few spells? He hypnotizes you, turns into fire, and then he uses a final slash to finish off. Instead of an hypnotize spell, he will use a magic fireball throw in the floor. That will lift up some dust, and with that dust, he will approach the opponent and attack them while the guard is down. A few slashes, and the opponent is down. Cool, we got it. Thank you for the help. I'm so puzzled with this guy. What else I have on the roster? Let me pull up the tweet. The next one is this girl. I see her as a gimmick fighter, like using a pillow. You know what? I was thinking the same. Like, this will be kind of like between my gimmick character and my kinda joke character. You know how some people think Jigglypuff is a joke character in Smash? But I think that's smart. And I will think some moves from Jigglypuff will fit here. Just imagine the situation, right? You're in the middle of a combo and she just used a pillow to uppercut you in the air, and to finish off, she just does off, and if you time it correctly, kind of like Jigglypuff does, and you hit the opponent just when you're getting sleep, that will do insane amount of damage. But it's a time frame so precise that it's practically impossible to dominate. But if you do it, you do it. Like, you did it. You almost beat your opponent in just 3 moves, who knows? Just imagine the situation. This chick was defending herself after a really hard pressure, does a 3-move combo and finish it off with just snoozing off, and your health is halved for just 3 moves. It's just so stupidly funny. Basically fights with pillows. For the super though, I'm going to give her the Luigi zone. What does that mean? Okay, so the tweet said, and I quote, "I like bother people in their sleep," right? So I'm going to give her the Luigi zone. The Luigi zone is basically a super that Luigi had on, I think it's Smash Brawl, in which he created a zone that made people either really slow or just get into a sleep. So she creates that zone, and when she attacks you, she cannot move you, but you will still take the damage of her attacks. The only downside of that is that she cannot use the sleep ability, but since you already sleep, she can still gather damage as long as your opponent is still in the zone. The zone will last less depending on how much you attack your opponent. Damage build, but knockback hits when the zone ends. Right, when the time of the zone ends, the knockback of the attack of the last attack dealt, because this is technically like Marvel vs. Capcom. There is different properties depending on the attacks you use. If you, for example, use a bunch of lights, the only pushback you will get is just a little bit. No, it's not stacked. It's not stacked because at the end of the day, the opponent is asleep. It's not freezed in time. If the opponent was freezed on time, yeah, the knockback will stack and that will just generate a few wall bounds. But the point on this is basically she will have a limited amount of attacks, so she might have to plan her combo before doing anything. The sleep zone will last at least 5 to 10 hits, depending on how the balance of the game will go. But I think in a good middle between 5 and 10 is good, like 6 hits and that's it. The zone is gone. But the zone will disappear after a few seconds if the opponent is outside of the zone. The zone will be not half the screen, not all the screen, just a small part of the screen. So it's kind of avoidable too. So she has to position herself before doing it. Yeah, a decent area around her. It will be around her, but it will be stationary. So if she lifts the area will still be there, and she can trick their opponent so they can just be on that zone. Kind of like a trap. It will be a trap super. It will not be a flashy one, but it will be a utility one. Ooh, okay. I have someone I was already imagining something for him. The Dr. Ento Bluet. I will call him Bluet just because it's short. Just for the last bit alone, I can think of something. The grow of additional appendages. This will be a nightmare, like the nightmare character. He will deform some of the limbs, or maybe he can grow another ones. I was thinking, since he has some pincers, and I don't know if that's a crab, a claw or something, he can do some really cool stuff with that. Like, imagine this. For defense, he can grow this to use as a shield. But as for special moves, I was thinking something like he activates a special move that gives him the ability to extend his next normal attack. So how it works is he will activate this 1 to 3 times. Like, he can activate it at the amount of time he wants, but that will allow him to just enhance up to 3 normal moves. Like, let's say he has the classic combo light, medium, heavy, right? If he activates the special move 3 times, he can enhance light, medium, and heavy. And this enhancement what it will do is basically he will get an extra hit of that specific attack because the limb he's using for that attack is growing. It's either growing something or spawning something. So what it will do is basically he uses a light attack, it will hit twice, a medium attack, it will hit twice, and a heavy attack, it will hit twice. He can use those enhancements whenever he wants and wherever he wants. But he needs time to charge them. It will take I don't know, maybe 5 frames, maybe 6. It will not take that long. Maybe burnable when of course it's burnable with charging because it's an animation. He will be on an animation that doesn't do damage and it's just an animation that shows another animation, so it will be burnable. If you attack him in the middle of the charging, the charging will be interrupted. So he might just enhance one move or 2 moves depending on how long he took on the charging. He can continue the charging if he didn't use his attacks. That's why I'm enhancing normal attacks, because you need your normals to defend yourself. But if he didn't use his normals, he can still keep charging those until he got the 3 normal enhancements. For the super though, I was thinking of growing that crab thing he has on here. Growing this into a really big size. He tries to stop that, but he fails and that thing eats the opponent and just split it off. Kinda like, I think it's called Annie on Skullgirls. She has this umbrella that eats people. So kinda like that. That thing eats the opponent, bites them a little bit, and then just barf them back, I guess. So for the super it will be kinda like going for the nightmare. It will be fun, that's for sure. Okay, this is a friend of mine, but I already had a few ideas for the little guy. So we have an alien over here with traces of dark matter from black holes. So I can give him space powers or space related powers, kind of like power of gravity traps for sure. Yes, I was thinking of he can throw little sparkles. It will be more than sparkles, kind of like Midori does on one super in KOF 14 and 15. He will throw little sparkles on the field. You will see them floating, and he can activate those to generate a trap that will absorb the opponent. What he can do after that, maybe he can rush down and punch them, or maybe he can throw another one and put a loop of gravity that will do damage over time. This little trap pose will last like between 1 second, maybe less. It will not last long because it's a good trap, like they will neutralize a little bit of the opponent. But I can see him summoning meteors. And not in the sense that they will just fall from the sky. He can open a portal and throw a meteor, kind of like a fireball. He opens a portal, a meteor just go to the right or to the left depending on which side is facing. And the meteor will go on until the end of the battlefield, even passing that. But if he hits the opponent, it will hit like a normal fireball. It's just a rock. As for the super though, no, not guns. It's just he uses his hands, kind of like Alien X from Ben 10. He creates a circle, and in that circle opens a portal. That portal generates a meteor that goes on the opponent. For the super, I was thinking going crazy and nuts and give him the Gamma Meteor. Basically, he will jump up and will bring a meteor with him from space and fall into the opponent. All that, yeah, instead of a meteor, he can grab him like a spaceship or a satellite and just throw that in the opponent. Yeah, it can happen. All of them. A satellite, a UFO, or a meteor. You have 3 options. Any of them can pop up randomly depending on this, not depending on anything, RNG, but all of them do the same damage. Oh hey, familiar faces are here. Okay, so for this one, I already give someone the grappler role, so I don't know what to do with Yume here. He's technically dream related. Also, I cannot give him the dream treatment because I already did that. For this guy, I was thinking mix it up well what he did with Caesar. The thing is, he will not be a grappler, he will be just a heavyweight. For example, not all the heavy characters need to be grapplers. So Yume is one of those cases in which, yeah, the guy is massive, the guy fits on the role of grabbing people, but this guy will punch and kick. So I was thinking making him Antonov from King of Fighters. What Antonov does is he just so happens to have a grab, but Antonov most of the time fights with just really strong punches and really strong kicks. One of his supers is basically he just charges, leans, and kicks someone in the stratosphere. In Pokemon, he will use Hypnosis 3-meter damage combo, I think. I was thinking, okay, so for Yume's moves, I was thinking he will charge. I will give him a tackle. Depending on the button you use, he will either just push you and throw you on the ground with light, stun you a little bit on with the medium button, but with the heavy, he will do a wall bounce. Here, I will give him a grab that is an anti-air. He will grab you on the air and will put you on the ground on the other side of, basically kind of like Geese Howard has a grab that counters everybody that tries to jump on him. He will have a grab, but he will just use it as an anti-air. You can combine him with the wall bounce, but more or less a smash to sleep type. Yeah, basically. So for the super though, I could see attacks against him having an auto punish. Now, I'm not making him that broken. I will make him... Okay, he has super large hitbox, so he will be Potemkin level of large hitboxes. He will be slow, but it's not that slow. I'm making this a little bit of fast-paced fighting game, so I'm making him Hulk from Marvel vs. Capcom type of slow. He will be slow, but he will not be that slow. He will have a dash. Hard to knock back. He will have armor in some moves, like the charge I mentioned. All versions have armor, all of them, the light, the medium, and the heavy. The grab doesn't have armor because, well, it's an anti-air grab. It's already super useful for a character that it's in a game that everybody will jump here and there, so that's that. A reason why I think Yume's Antonov is because if I give him lows, that will be super difficult for him to do. Like, the design itself, at least for me, tells me he will have a really hard time doing low attacks. He's massive, but not in a way like Potemkin is. It's not very fast or flexible, exactly. He will not have lows. So for that, I will give him the light. I will give him that light low punch that will kind of like free him from the pressure. And then he can combo that into the Mortal Kombat uppercut I gave him, basically launching the opponent on the air. Then after that, it's up to him what he wants to do. The super. Oh, I will give him the T-Hawk. Let me show you. That's a work of art here. That's Yume's super. That's it. That. No, not to change that. That specific thing is Yume's super. That. That thing is Yume's super. Fuck it. It's super good. That will hurt a lot. Even more coming from a guy that is a mass of muscles. Okay, so what's next? This is a tough one, because she's another support. You know, I'm going with multiverses here. I'm going to reference a little bit of Steven Universe here. So the way Steven works on multiverses is funny because, well, it's a team-based game, so he will give shields to his teammate. But Steven also likes to play with shields. So I was thinking of, I'm going to give her some shield type of magic. She can create shields and put them on the screen, right? But those shields will act as trampolines for the opponent. They will not do damage, but she can extend combos using those shields as trampolines. So let's say she puts one of the shields behind the opponent. She starts poking the opponent with lights and the opponent will bounce back to her so she can continue the combo. She will basically depend all solely on the shields to do the combo extensions basically. For other specials, I was thinking like maybe give her claw type of attacks like claw slash, berserker barrage or something like that. But I was thinking something more tame. Give her 1 or 2 slashes, but not in a way that looks feral. Just 1 or 2 slashes, not a bunch of like 6 or 7 slashes, because 1, that will make her too broken, and 2, she can combo into like punches or kicks. I was thinking of her using the trampoline shields, basically combo with the claws, and she will have a DP basically. A claw slash that is kind of like an uppercut. As for the super though, I'll give her the most utility super you can get, and that's healing yourself. That's a thing that happened on Street Fighter 4 with Elena. Elena had an ultra super that basically was just healing herself. So I'm guessing that will do for a super for her, since she's basically the type of character that will prefer keep herself alive too if she's on the battlefield. It's not flashy, it's not the best, but it's according to the character, so based on that, it's okay. And with that, we are almost done. Just one more. Okay, so for this one, I did something really special, and I make a model out of it. One, because the art from the person who sent this is the art I'm working with. I have to say, for a model that was inspired by this, I think I did a pretty good job. I took my creative liberties because there was some stuff I couldn't do, and I wanted to include them just for the fact that the lore says they are technically interdimensional traveler magician thing. So they have both science and magic at the same time, which, one, I call bullshit, and 2, it works. Yeah, she's basically, as the lore says here, one of 2 characters. A gadget user for sure, yes. The lore says here there is 2 versions of the same character that are from different dimensions, and they teach each other their different knowledge. One knew more about tech and the other knew more about magic. They exchanged knowledge, so they both have the same knowledge and I'm guessing the same type of abilities. So for this character, I was thinking something like she will attack with maybe some elemental magic, and then the other half will just throw kind of gadgets at the field doing different stuff, or make it simple and just make one character do both things. She will throw some gadgets on the field that can activate traps, kinda like Rocket Raccoon. One trap can dig a hole on the ground and bury the opponent in there for a little bit, so she can do a combo or put an element on the field. And since she's a magic user, I need to also give her special moves that involves magic. But I already have an elemental user here, both. Well, I have 2 technically. So I was thinking, why not just give her a status effect the character? Like, she can throw gadgets that can slowly drain the health of your opponent, or they can freeze the opponent, or they can put asleep, or whatever effect the other characters had, she can apply it. But the trick is, she will be Faust. She easily can be Faust. She has all the gadgets, she has all the elements on her side, but they are all RNG. You don't know what gadgets you will get, you don't know what elements you will get hit with. You will just get hit and you will be so unpredictable. And since she used magic, she can easily teleport everywhere, she can easily dash through the opponent, or she can do both. Use a dash as a teleport. As for the super, there is where I include the other character. I was thinking of the super like, they will throw every single gadget they had on you, make a pile of them, and all of them will explode, giving you a different effect, RNG depending. Though that pile of like gadgets will explode, will do a decent amount of damage, but the effect that will do will be random. Kinda similar to Sephiroth's super on Smash that gives you an effect whatever, it's just a random effect that will be applied on your character alongside the damage, of course. So you can get either poisoned, you can get sleep after a huge explosion. It's so weird. It works. But yeah, that's my last character for this, like the main roster. Now we have DLC. Let's just say somehow, someway, this game made it good, made it hard. Yeah, we have DLC. And for DLC I have some familiar faces, so... Or 3 unlockables, yeah. They can be secret characters too. That sounds about right, since this technically will be an indie fighting game for now. Yeah, unlockable characters sounds good. I don't want to put them behind a paywall, but still, they are extra characters. As for who they are, they're pretty familiar. So, first up, the recent redesign of Narci basically gave me the idea of making him play like Joker, but then I was thinking, wait a minute, why would I do that when I can make him Phoenix Wright? The thing behind Narci, I'm going to include kinda what he does for a living, which is making logos, and I was thinking, every single attack, it's a bubble with a logo representing what he's saying. Like, it's kind of like Phoenix Wright. He just will pop up a glob of text with a simplified design of a logo, maybe an overly designed logo, or whatever logo he wants to make. An old school Batman comics. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the plan. That's the plan. Make it, yeah, the bam, bam, beef, bow, all of that. Yes. As for other specials, I will lean a little bit into what Joker does for this because I need to use it. So he will be kind of a trickster. He will have a few weapons. I think just a knife. He will do and slash, but I was thinking, wait, will that work with him? Then I was thinking, wait a minute, there is a character that fights with painting on a really obscure fighting game I played once, and that was fun. So why not make his, instead of a knife, a pencil? He's a graphic designer, but at the same time he needs to draw some stuff. No, it wasn't Amaterasu, it wasn't Amaterasu. This is a really weird fighting game that I found the other day. I was playing it just a little bit, just to have fun. I ended up finding a girl that fights with a brush and paints on the screen. I just remembered it. But the pencil, in this case, will do a line, and that line will do a few ticks of damage. Kinda like Hisako on Killer Instinct. When she does an ultra, she teleports behind the opponent, leaving a slash that does a few ticks of damage. Same here with Narci. It will just do a slash, and that slash will do between 3 and 6 tick of damage depending on the variant he used, light, medium, or heavy. So, as for his super though, I wanted to include the flowers in some way, shape, or form. So, I was thinking, he will do the slashes, right? For the super. He will charge into you, he will do a bunch of slashes that will make the flower. Johnny missed fine. Kinda. He will not throw the flower at the beginning. He will throw it at the end. The thing is, I'm mixing up a little bit of Persona 5 all-out attack finishers. Here, he will charge on the opponent, he will do a couple of slashes that form the flower over here, and then he will just hide the pencil and throw one Narcissus, finishing the opponent out. It will kill or not depending on the health the opponent has, but that's the idea for the super, and I think it will fit really well with him. Let's see who's next on the docket. Let's go with the glitchy demon now. Okay, this is a hard one. Kinda. I know this guy almost like hand. Mid. Mid. Nah. Okay, so what the the hell did this guy put on the tweet? Now I'm curious. I didn't read the tweet. I need to read the tweets sometimes, but... Glitchy Sonic. You know what? I was thinking the same. I was thinking of mixing up a little bit of, like, Rock Howard on him, using that demon hand he has for something, and the tail with electricity. But, like, sometimes it Oh! You're right! I will give him Deadpool's teleport! Okay, so in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, if you do 3 times the teleport with Deadpool, the 3rd time the teleport will explode, sending Deadpool flying. So I'm guessing I could give Midori the same. He will use his glitchy powers to teleport, but at the 3rd time, the glitch will make him explode for some reason because it's a glitch. He will explode and he will be flying around. Overheat punishment. Kinda. It's overused punishment. Yeah, it would be a little bit unfair giving him that since I have 2 type of characters that can do that. But the explosion can affect the opponent, giving them a lot of damage if they try to approach to, like, punish them. And Midori will be sent flying on the opposite direction of the opponent every single time. And in the middle of the air, he can just press any button and he will be fine. It will not be a hard nutback. Kinda forced to be mindful of changing attacks up. Yeah, it will force to, like, vary your gameplay a little bit. As for Midori's other specials, I was thinking using his tail to, like, zap your opponents. For example, his tail can go either mid, low, or on top of the opponent, depending on the button he uses. If he uses light, it will go low. Medium punch, he will use, like, the medium variant. To go, like, on top of the opponent, he can use the heavy button. The zap will be just like a quick attack, but it will stun the opponent a little bit, so they are wide open for other attacks. It's kind of like a combo extender type of attack. Okay, so for the super, I was thinking using his demon part of the character for this. The hand he has, I was about to give him a Raging Storm for the hand, but I was thinking more like, wait a minute, why don't I give you a Fireball with the hand? No, wait, no, even better. I will give him the Penance Stare from Ghost Rider, but instead of a stare, he will just grab the opponent, touch them with the red hand for a few seconds, obscuring the screen a little bit, and then a glitch effect will appear on the screen. After that, we go back to the match, but the opponent has his control reversed thanks to the glitching. That will last a few moments, and it will do damage. The super itself doesn't do damage, but the glitching does. And the amount of damage it will do, it will be fairly balanceable, but yeah. No. But yeah, that would be super funny. But yeah, that's my idea for the super. I'm giving him the Penance Stare from Ghost Rider, but instead of doing damage in the super, the damage will be after the super ends, after the glitch effect ends. Because when Midori attacks the opponent that is glitched, the attacks will not do damage. But if you somehow manage to do a combo and do pressure on the opponent, the damage will be calculated after the glitch effect ends. So if you do a ton of damage on the combo while he's glitched, he will literally kill an opponent on the TOD without the TOD being like a full combo. That's very interesting, but what about the knife? Do you have a knife? Like a minimum combo requirement? Not a minimum combo requirement, but you will have a really wide open window of combo technically. Because, let's say, the glitch effect will act similar, if not equal, to the freeze time effect on Breath of the Wild, right? You can hit a boulder, and that boulder will have like kinetic energy saved on them. Once the time freeze of the object is done, the object will go depending on how much kinetic energy it saves. The same happens on the glitch effect, but the glitch effect, basically what it does is doing that, but without the freeze time. The opponent can still move, can still defend themselves, but they will still receive damage if they are attacked or they are blocking. But the damage will be calculated after the glitch effect ends. It's super overly complicated, but it's a fucking glitch. What do you expect? It's overly complicated in and of itself. Who's the last one? The last one is this guy. So, Mattguy over here. It's a space cyborg. Stasis powers and a lot of melee weapons. Okay, so this is the character that can freeze objects and fill them with kinetic energy. Yeah, stasis like freezing on time or lock. Oh yeah, time logging. So I can make him axle low? Like, he has melee weapons, which includes, I'm guessing, knives and swords and katanas and whatever. I was thinking of giving him guns. This was the guy I was thinking of giving him guns. But you know what? I'm going to make him a nerf Terminator. I'm going to give him a knife. I'm going to give him like CQC type of combat. I'm going to make him Blade. You know Blade, the vampire hunter from Marvel? Yeah, I'm going to make him Blade, but as a space cyborg. Yeah, I'm going to give him a few like gadgets, maybe like a batarang or something, similar to a batarang. Then a knife he can use to dash to an opponent. As for some of the specials, he can throw a knife, but put that knife in the stasis. So he can later just snap his fingers and the knife will flow to the opponent. It's similar to what Dio does with his knife on the world. When Dio stops time and he uses the super to throw knives, the knives stay there. But when time resumes, all the knives flow to the opponent. Mattguy over here will do the same, but the only difference being, only the knives will be freezed on time. He and the opponent can still move, can still dodge, can still defend themselves. The knives will be freezed for a short period of time so he can use them later, or the knives will just activate themselves. As for the super though, I was thinking just giving him the Dio treatment and giving him the ability to stop time on the opponent, throw a bunch of knives, and then just reappear with all the knives on top of the opponent with just a snap. That sounds really cool, actually. Holy shit. Okay, so Dio meets Slade Wilson and Deathstroke. Yes, without the guns. I wish I could give him at least a sub rifle, because this guy looks like he will use a gun or two, right? But yeah, that's the roster. We have it. Sheesh. Yeah, this was super fun, dude. I'll be posting the final roster on Twitter later on.